Hello everybody, it's Christy and I wanted to share with you the finished journal that I've made. I shared a little bit about this when I did my eclectic stash busting video on Saturday, and like I thought, I was able to get it done over the weekend, and then I had, of course, Memorial Day off, and excuse me, I had taken Tuesday off as well. So I finished it and I've shared a couple of photos in a couple of Facebook groups, but I wanted to do the video. And I have to say, I truly love how it came out. So I had mentioned that I created this from some heavyweight chipboard. I recycled some cardboard box and covered it with this really awesome wallpaper. I did go over it with some, what was it? It was one of the Tim Holtz, what is that one called? Antique Rose, Vintage. I can't remember, but it wasn't the Victorian Velvet. That was too dark. It was the rose one. Oh boy. Can't remember. Anyway, I did that, and then I went around a little bit with some tea stain, and I love how it came out. And then on the cover, I have another one of the images that I used. It was the TaylorMade Journals Vintage Photos kit, which is huge, and I will link to that below. And you can go check it out. And then the frame is one of the Tim Holtz. It's one of his new frames. And I had picked those up not too long ago, and I really love how that came out. And I did ink around the edges of the frame. This is some of the vintage lace that I bought when we were in London. And I just put a little piece there and some of this pom-pom trim, which is from Doreen at Ooh La La Vintage Treasures. And then I've got some avocado dyed seam binding, some vintage linen, and then this is a Tim Holtz sticker that says she could believe. And then I just have one of these crocheted flowers with the pearls in the middle. And so I just think it's, I don't know, I really love the way it came out. Hold on a second. My glasses are falling. Okay. All right. So, and then I have, I put two eyelets on, I put an eyelet on the front and back cover, and then I have some sari silk that I knot at the ends. And then inside, I've got the fabric on the inside. I did add some vintage linen to the spine, and I made a couple of these little altered paper clips, and I used the Tim Holtz die, which is the tattered, stacked decal is what it's called, but it's this die. Love it. And I cut tea-dye paper and then pattern paper, and if you guys remember, I used the Stamperia Roses and Laces collection. Love it. And I have the front page, and I have the back page, and I have this piece, and that is all of the kit that I have left. So I was successful in using all of it, so I was glad about that. So pattern paper, tea-dye paper, I've got my paper clip, and then another image from Lorna's vintage image kit, and I need to add a little snip of glue there. Somebody asked in my last video where I get my laces from. And I get my laces mostly from like rummage sales, garage sale, estate sale. Sorry, totally sidetracked, but this folded over and I wanted to fix it. So sometimes, like we used to have a couple thrift stores now that are no longer in business locally that I was able to get vintage laces from as well, but I just find them just random places. I've just been really lucky to find them. And so I do have a couple of vintage trims on the bottom here, and then one of Lorna's absolutely gorgeous vintage photos. I love it. And then I just made some of these little collage tags, and I figured they'd be great. A person could personalize them, add photos, do journaling, and I thought that would be really cute. So I just tucked one behind there. We've got tea-dyed paper, book page with some trim, some just vintage office ephemera. This is some coffee dyed paper from Sagita's Coffee Stains. I did some stamping. This is Tim Holtz paper from Memoranda collection. More tea dyed paper. This is some vintage book page, which I think is super pretty. And this is one of Sagita's die cut pages, which I love. I took the Tim Holtz, the little slit pocket die, which I don't think I have it. I think I put it away. But I just tucked in some ephemera from his botanicals collection, and then I made a little tag that just says live and tied it with some avocado seam binding. And I wanted there to be places that whoever buys this can, you know, personalize and decorate. And I wanted there to be ample space for journaling and such as well. And then this is actually I shared with you guys this little floating pocket that I made. I did do a video showing how I put this together, and I will upload it. It'll probably go up after this video in a couple days, probably this weekend. I'll put it up. But I filmed a process, and I do want to say I got one really kind of mean comment, and I just delete it. You know, if people leave mean comments on my channel, I delete them and I move on. I don't have time. I don't have time for negativity and drama, so I tend to move on. But I did have a comment about, you know, not doing talking during the video. And I just want to say that there are some days I talk at work all day long, and I've got a lot of stress in my own personal life and a lot of stress in my job. And so there's just some days where I just want to come home and I just want to be creative. I still want to share with you guys what I make. And there's probably going to be the occasion where I don't do like a craft along and talk you through my process. So this past weekend when I filmed this video, and then I did the tag video, which would be the video I uploaded right before this video. I just didn't feel like talking. And so I still wanted to be creative, and I wanted to share that process. And so I do try to pick music that's more soothing, because I know for myself that a lot of times when I watch videos, I love to watch a process video. I love to listen to people talk as well, but I also just love to watch a process. And I usually listen to those videos before I go to bed. I watch videos, and so I tend to fall asleep to them. So I just like calming things. So I try to pick music that's, you know, more calming. And so I got a lot of positive feedback on that. But I did want to say, you know, why you're going to have 2 process videos that there's absolutely 0 talking, just because I didn't feel like it. But I wanted to still be creative and share with you guys what I was working on and share the process. But there will be no talking. So this is going to be the other one that comes next. And I had altered book page, covered the back with tea-dye paper. I used scrapbook paper from the collection and created a pocket from another vintage book, and I added the little accent across the top there. And then I just I had extra pieces of the pattern paper, so I just made some larger tags. Used some hole reinforcers, some trim, and then this is another one of those little collage tags. And I think that they turned out really cute, and they fit perfectly in here. And then, you know, if you wanted to use it as a placeholder, you can just move it around within the signature. And so then it just clips with one of these little binder type clips that I tied some of the avocado dyed seam binding and then some sari silk at the top. And I need a drink of water. My mouth is dry. Okay, so that's that. So love that. And then we've got Edith Holden. Oh, we've got more stamping. Edith Holden book page. And then some half pages. And then this is an envelope. Rachel, who is Roxy Creations, she did a really cool snippet belly band tutorial for one of her 100-day projects. And I absolutely loved that. So I made 3 little snippet bands, and this is one of them. And then I just took, this is a collage sheet from Artie Mays. Love it. And I just printed it out onto I found a ream of paper at Goodwill for 50 cents. And it was a full ream of this really nice, it says it's 110 pound index cardstock, and it's just got a really nice texture to it. And so I just folded it in such a way that it created this like envelope looking thing. Folded up this side, stitched the ends to create a little tuck spot. So I put one of these little collage tags with one of the TaylorMade Journal vintage images and some sari silk. And I thought it was a great place for journaling and tucking little memorabilia. And then I just think that's really, really cool. So, and then it just clips on. And then on the back side, I just stamped and inked up this shipping tag with some twine. And then here's one of the tags I shared with you guys last weekend. So it's just an avocado dye tag that I stamped. I inked up, I layered some cheesecloth, some fabric, and then stitched another one of those vintage photo images. Added sari silk tied with some twine. I think that's really pretty. And then another one of the collage tags, the center of the signature. I left these long. I left the strings long in the middle. Got a little tab, and this is the other half of the signature. And here's one of the tags from my previous video. So I've got the Artie Mays collage sheet, some vintage train ledger from 1911 that my dog ate. When we got Penelope, she ate the ledger. So I only have a few pages because she decimated that poor thing. But anyway, I have one of the images from the vintage photo kit, some vintage trim at the top and down here, and then I did machine stitching and then collaged on the back, and then it just slips there on the page. But I think those turned out really pretty. Some more stamping, sheet music with some vintage lace. More vintage book page, more tea-dyed paper, and the other end of the Tim Holtz paper. Coffee-dyed paper with stamping, vintage office ephemera, another part of vintage book, and some trim, tea-dyed paper, and then that's the end of the first signature. And then the second signature, there's a tab, more tea-dyed paper, a book page with some vintage trim, vintage office ephemera, some stamping, some pattern paper, one of those little die cut pages, lined paper. Love this Dutch book. It's so pretty. Coffee dyed paper with stamping. And here's the second of the 3 little floating pockets. It's all the same. It's just different, different paper. And then, of course, the tab is a different color. But love it. And then it's got the 3 tags as well. And then, yep. And then on this side is another one of those Tim Holtz pockets with ephemera. And then a little tag that says laugh. A couple half pages, another tag. And some Edith Holden book page. And another altered clip. So you can tuck some things up inside there. And then this is the center of the signature. And then we've got Edith Holden book page, another one of those tags that I made. Love that. And then half pages, sheet music with vintage trim, coffee dyed paper with stamping, vintage book page. And then another one of the envelope type again, this is another Artie Mays digital printout, but isn't it pretty? I just love it. And so, and then I tucked in another one of those collaged tags, and then it just folds up and goes over. I've got one of Rachel's doilies, and then some lace, and then another vintage photo from the Vintage Photos kit, and I stitched around that. And then it just goes over and clips on. And then on the back side, I've got the tag that says Dream, some more stamping, some more vintage office ephemera, vintage book page with some trim, tea-dye paper, and that's the end of the second signature. And then the third signature, but I think it turned out really pretty. And there's so much room in here to write, to add your own ephemera, and I just think it turned out really pretty. Love those die cut pages. Another tab, another altered paper clip. Here's the third of the little floating pockets. And again, I staggered my little snippets so that they would be staggered throughout the journal when you looked from the outside. So I thought that looks really pretty. Another one of the Tim Holtz pockets, and ephemera with the little tag that says love. Edith Holden book page. And then another tag that I stamped on and tied twine at the top. And then this is another one of those little envelopes with the snippet on it, and I love it. And then it opens and there's a tag inside. So I think it turned out so pretty, and I love how it looks. I just love how that looks on the page. I think it's beautiful. So that goes there, and then the tag goes there. So pretty. Sheet music with vintage trim, more book page, pattern paper, tea-dye paper, die cut page, some stamping, some vintage ephemera. Here's the third and final of those long tags that I made. I just love how this turned out. Some more trim. And that's it. That is my journal. And I absolutely love how it looks. It's so pretty. And I'll put some photos at the end as well. And then I should have this listed in my Etsy shop. So if you're interested, you can check there. I'll probably update my link this weekend after I get it listed, but it should be in there this weekend. But yes, I absolutely love how it turned out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.